Hey folks, Studio here. So today we're going to be looking at an 1100 ELO replay from the AP mid's point of view. But I have lots of quick announcements that may not be exciting, so if you don't want to listen to them, I'll put the YouTube thing over here. So, first of all, I'm just going to plug leagueofstudio.com. I got lessons and all that jazz. I also have a form spring there. But I was actually wondering whether you guys want me to do an AMA on Reddit. I've got a bit of people asking about it, just because the form spring is cool and all, and I know you guys want to come to my place, but I thought, hey, why not go to your place for a bit and just hang out? We can play some Smash, talk LOL, you know. I can answer questions relating anything to, League of Legends as a support player, the daily, general life advice. For example, I can free question right here. If you want to get all the punani, do not use the word punani. And life tips like that. So if you want the AMA, just post a YouTube comment, or if there's a Reddit thread for this, a Reddit comment, and I'll do it later in the week. So let's see. Anything else? Oh, so FO Friday was a outstanding success. I'm probably going to be changing the name to OK Friday, because instead of going for the aggressiveness, we'll just do something a little bit off key Friday. It should be fun. So I will actually put this Friday's. I'm actually not sure I'm going to do that. Actually, I will put either this Friday or next Friday's theme up at the beginning of next video. I feel you may not have enough time to get people together to actually do it, so I don't know if it'll be for this week or next week. If I get the replays on time, I'll do it this week. If not, I can always wait till next week. But aside from that, we're ready to jump into the replay. Let's dive in head first, and hope we don't hit our bellies in the water. Okay, so first things first, let's see who's playing who. We got Grinch on Karthus, I Overkill on Tryndamere, Oddwin Zero on Soraka, Scotty Flip on Ezreal, J-Rob on Warwick, Zytiniars on Fiddlesticks, Sitzfury Extra on Garen, X Haring on Orianna, Moonin Asai on Ashe, and Tom Z91 with the easy name to pronounce, finishing it off on Taric. So I'd really like to say, when you want to invade as a group. So here we had Fiddlesticks, Garen, and Orianna camping blue. Now, I would just immediately say, go take that red, go, you fine young beast. But Ezreal goes before everybody else, and he gets nervous and blows his flash in a very, very unfortunate way. So this is just the effects of A, going in solo before, your team's grouped up, and B, getting nervous and blowing your flash. You want to blow your flash when it's safe, and when you'll actually benefit from it. The thing is, it's really hard to do now because they've nerfed the range on it quite a bit. So be calm, be safe, be sure of your flash before you burst it. I mean, I've seen great players make mistakes with flash, and that's just because, it's not easy to do to get these on-the-fly, off-the-wall flashes. So really quickly, Grinch, we're gonna try and trash you a bit. Now, you did send this to me in an email, so I'll go into that. But first of all, he chose AD runes. This was an accident. He doesn't play Karthus a lot. He may not even have an AP page. But that has to do with proper, runes, and not everybody has access to them. But we're going to trash him. And I want you guys to kind of watch this as Blue's Clues. So when you see Grinch make a mistake, I want you to yell, mistake, mistake, at the computer screen. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because you want to be able to improve as you play a game. So we're going to look at the mistakes Grinch is making now and compare them to how he does later in part 2. So first of all, right now he's playing super aggressively. He's trying to do damage to Orianna. And he's about equal, actually. But the problem really is he doesn't have any mana regeneration. And he's blowing a ton of mana just trying to CS and harass. And he doesn't have Defile, so he's not getting any mana back. And when he uses Wall of Pain, more mana, just gone. I mean, Orianna's at about half, he's at about 100. Now, when you have a mana crystal and no mana regen because you're running AD runes and not utility masteries, you got a problem. So his aggression, it very briefly paid off. They were about equal in HP for like a minute. And now, even though they might be equal in HP still, that mana difference is really going to come back into haunt Karthus. He can no longer trade. If he tries to go for damage, he'll run out of mana and she'll just do that. Now, unfortunately for Karthus, he also doesn't have boots. So, Orianna, Karthus, boots. Buy boots against them. Now, some characters can actually benefit from a Doran's or a mana crystal, but until you really learn what to do, usually you want to go for something a little safer. Now, obviously, I love experimenting with item builds and just trying to change things up, but this is different. This is not an experiment. This is someone who's still learning Karthus and is still very new at the role. So, he may not even know what Orianna does actually. I mean, very few people play her now, especially since she got nerfed quite a while ago. So even though she has quite a bit of potential, people don't understand what she can do. Now, a big problem Grinch has been having is he doesn't really take the ball into account. Now, right there he could have gotten a CS2 after he died, but I don't think he realized that, after I'm dead I can get this gold. As Kog'Maw, as Karthus, if you're ever in a situation where you cannot harass anymore, go for that CS, get that extra 100 gold or 40 gold when you die. Anything helps. So, Karthus is back. He does not have boots yet. He's going straight tier, and it's gonna hurt him. He doesn't have the boots. The ball is just gonna wreck him. So, if you're playing against Orianna, you got to keep good tabs on the ball. I mean, proper manipulation of the ball means it will constantly be in your face, be very, very difficult to dodge, and you got to have a decent amount of move speed. And he's just not confident on Karthus right there. I mean, most players, if they saw Orianna go in like that, they would immediately put down that wall just to get away. He waits until he's almost at his tower and doesn't really get the benefit of that evasion. And now, because he has no boots, he also got extra pokes put in. Now the question is, will he learn to manipulate his positioning versus the ball? This time, maybe not, but maybe later. I will say though, he has learned about being passive versus being aggressive. He knows he doesn't have the mana, he doesn't have the mana regeneration to really go in there, and now he just doesn't have the damage, so he's been playing a very, very calm game. And he's actually been doing okay with the ball, but the thing is, Orianna's someone who she can catch you out twice and that can be enough to kill you, depending on who you're playing. And then this is just, the Orianna's not fantastic, but this is a good play. That right there was just a good catch. She knew she could kill him with that combo, and she did. So, yeah, good for you. But Karthus ulted, and he is not appreciating the calmness you need to play League of Legends. Now, the reason I say calmness is, when you stay calm, you are better at the game. When you miss the last hit and you freak out, I have seen so many people just snowball that effect. You'll miss one last hit, you'll fall behind a bit, and you'll miss more and more last hits just trying to catch up, just because you're like, I gotta get all the last hits because I missed that one. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. And he's also telling his team that he doesn't play EP, and he shouldn't have been in the role. Alright, it does suck playing a role you're not used to, especially in ranked, because you really want to win, but if you're in that role, nobody cares about your excuses. I mean, if you say, man, my computer's lagging, or you disconnect, or it lags, people will feel a bit of sympathy, but they will still be annoyed to all hell. Now, this play is very interesting. He actually really does what he needs to do there. He blows her flash, he gets some aggression down, and he's kind of learning how to, gauge the damage he can do. Unfortunately, he kept chasing, and Orianna was just able to kill him. So, when you want to be aggressive against someone, especially somebody who's ahead of you, significantly, don't ever really go all in. If you go all in, I mean, maybe you'll get lucky and get a kill, but 9 times out of 10, you'll die again. And if you die again, well, you're just setting yourself further and further back. And once he blew that flash, that's not amazing. I mean, he did take a lot of damage, and he might have had to flash himself to not get out of creeps. But he would set her up for a gank like this. And Grinch, you sadly fall into the gank trap, which is you went in either too early or too late. Now, here, Tryndamere and Warwick are pretty much able to finish her off on her own. This ult's really funny because it just pulls him to her. And I think she was going to die anyways, but, you know, he really didn't help out. Now, when someone ganks your lane, you want to gank. You want to help them gank, of course. But you don't want to go in too early, and you don't want to go in too late. Let's say there's somebody who can kill you. If you go in too early, they might kill you. And you also don't want to be suspicious with your playing. In this case, Karthus has been very, very passive. Aside from a couple outbursts, he's really not been all out there. If all of a sudden someone who's been playing very, very passively charges at you, what are you going to do? You're just going to back off. You're just like, wait, this is weird. I don't like this. And some people might not back off, but that is your first instinct. It's like a bayonet charge. It might work the first time and just scare people off, but the second time they'll have caught on. So Orianna would have known he was being aggressive, but now he went in super late. And had she had a flash up, had she been in a better position, maybe she could have survived. And it would have been on him. Now this fight's interesting. So Fiddlesticks gets destroyed. He gets the chicken on him. He has to fear and just run away. I want to say maybe he should have tried to drain because, you know, at least with drain he'd be able to heal while he slowed. But he really couldn't do anything there. I mean, there was very few options. And at this point, it's a 3v2, but Karthus is kind of squishy, and Wick has his ult down. So the only person who's really all there at full power is at Tryndamere. And they do something very, very interesting. This is an 1100 elo game. They take an objective and back off. That was awesome. I mean, they might have been able to win a fight. I think they could have killed Garen and Orianna. But Garen and Orianna themselves would have gotten Karthus for sure. And I think they could have gotten Warwick or Tryndamere just because they have quite a bit of mobility and quite a bit of kite from both from Orianna and Warwick. And Garen. So they didn't take that risk, and it worked out for them. Also, Warwick doing something very funny. He doesn't want to give blue to Karthus because he's afraid he'll feed. And let's be honest, Karthus is just... Orianna can kill him so easily right now, and it's just not really worth it for Karthus to take it. So even though I think, well, Karthus really needs blue, if you're not confident you won't just die, maybe you don't need that resource. Maybe you don't need that buff. So that was actually a good example of someone going in at the right time. Ezreal was a bit slow in getting out of there, but Taric set up a stun that set up Fiddlesticks to ult in and get that kill. So that was very, very good of both of them. I mean, when you have wards up, you got to make sure you're able to react in time to actually get out of there. And here Karthus goes for a gank bottom. He learns that, well, they warded, and he loses his mid tower. Probably should have been a bit more defensive and not really gone out of there, but it happens. But things we've learned from the beginning of this match. Well, Karthus started playing a whole lot more passively. He did play aggressive that one time, but that was still a change from what he was doing before. Instead of going for a bunch of harass, he went in for a super kill. He still has some issues with placing his wall down as fights start, but he's getting better. And even though he only has 40 AP, there's a good chance he'll actually be able to help turn this game around. But we'll find that out in part 2. I'll see you there.